Yeah, good. It'll give everybody time to come running.
So I just don't feel like it's a true live unless we have this playing.
Music resonant.
Dude, it's so good. Oh yeah. This is great. This is great. Here we are. We did it. We did it. Dude, brother, happy Tuesday. We didn't go live yesterday because, as you know, but for everyone watching, my wife and I took our kids to an indoor water park. Hundreds and hundreds of people. We were trying to guess maybe 300 to 400 people in this indoor water park, having fun. Life felt like normal. No one was in fear. It was just a blast. And so that's where we were yesterday, and came back, shaved the beard down. My kids said they didn't recognize me. I have a short, fat face, and I said, "Excuse me, I better get working out right now."
That's good. It means you're well fed like a king.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, brother, I'm glad we're back live.
Yeah, it feels good. Happy Tuesday. What do we got going on? So we're talking about the light increasing.
Yes.
But as the light increases, so does the contrast, or
that's exactly right.
What you call it, because everything is relative, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when it's the brightest during the day, I mean, you're in California, I'm in Seattle, so I don't see sun as much as you see sun. But I know when I see sun and it's incredibly bright, the brighter the sun is, the greater the contrast of the shadow.
Right.
Less bright, less shadow. Well, right now the light is in almost its totalitarian power coming in right now, and the contrast is so vast. And yes, there are people who are staying in the shadows, staying in the contrast, and it feels dark. But think when the light is right above, that shadow is very small. So the people that are in the shadows, it's a very small, confined place. But in the light, there is the vastness of freedom and love and abundance and beauty and alignment and expansion and the king's breath, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the thing is this, as the contrast amplifies, that's what's squeezing people out into the light, right?
Yeah.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's available now. Mm-hmm. It's available right now. It's just a matter of which way we choose to look. Right. And we are addicted to the contrast. That was the flaw in the design. Is we have been addicted. We have been addicted to the contrast. That was the way we were conditioned.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they keep putting the carrot. We're chasing the carrot. Yep. And we're waiting for this closure from outside of ourselves that only we can give to ourselves.
Yes. Dude, speaking of like contrast, so I'm following this account that said the Oprah, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry interview was a white hat operation. The entire thing was CGI'd. In fact, they never touched. So, you know, those hologram videos that we looked at, I mean, it's clear that they're like,
Assange video, right?
Exactly. Yep. Like, social distancing, can't touch, but there's all this.
That's interesting.
Around
the distance.
Yep.
You can't tell if it's a hologram because they're not close enough. Remember that awkward high five? They couldn't figure it out.
They couldn't figure it out.
Now we're being safe. You can't tell the difference.
Dude, so watching that last night, and the person that said that's a white hat operation to wake up the sleeping public still, and it was utterly nonsense. It was absurd nonsense. And you know, this isn't about Meghan or Harry or Oprah. This is just about the content that was aired to the public was utter nonsense. And the victim mindset, this crazy mindset that was aired to the public as somewhat virtuous, I was talking to my wife, I'm like, this is waking people up right now. And the person who was was writing about the account saying it's a white hat operation, it's putting into the consciousness of humanity, even if it's not cognitively in the forefront, that the royals are not who they say to be. And even in the interview the last night, they're like, we're actors. They send us out to get, our job is to smile. And it's like, wow, they're
You're literally spoon feeding
yes,
the
yes,
truth.
yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Meghan Markle was literally an actor in Hollywood.
yes, it is so amazing. And so why I brought that up is just that there's so much light right now. There's so much goodness and beauty and truth and expansiveness. And I hadn't watched any mainstream media. I can't remember the last time I've watched any network, anything.
It's all WWF, everything.
Dude, everything is
Right?
everything.
I can't even take it seriously.
No. Even the questions that Oprah was asking, I couldn't even take serious. They're like, she was like, what? Like, come on.
Was she wearing an ankle monitor?
She certainly was, or it looked like that.
I bet it did. Yeah. See,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Dude, that's how you know. It's just, and here's the thing: there are so many layers to this. You could call it a spiritual war and all that we did in the past. I'm not even going to focus on that because that word has such a negative connotation to it. We're just going to focus on the light. But there's so many layers you get to choose where you want to be, right?
Yep.
I mean, again, we have, which side is it? It's Matt. You can choose your path to source.
Yeah.
Right. But if you once you get in alignment with source, you don't have to go through it all again.
Yeah.
And that's, however, if we're doing what we're doing as public figures and pointing things out and helping people from all aspects, right?
Right.
So we have to understand a little bit of everything. But you don't want to get engulfed in it because each one is a rabbit hole in its own right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you look at all these different layers and you get to choose where you want to put your focus.
Right.
And what I was talking about, in the beginning of all this, remember when I was saying like, oh, we're watching, for a while, I felt like we were watching the end of Scarface. If you've ever seen Scarface, you remember he's on that balcony, say hello to my little friend, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's getting lit up, dude. There's nobody surviving. They're shooting shit out. He's getting boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
But he keeps going. He's just spraying everything to see if he could just get one shot in, right? Just boom, boom, boom. He's never going to stop.
Right.
This is what's happening. They're not just going to go, oh, you busted us.
Right.
We quit. No, it's going to continue as long as we allow it, as long as we pay attention to it. The dark will get darker. It will get tighter. It will get stronger. It will feel it's meant to squeeze us out. Yeah. And now what I think we're starting to see is the end of The Departed. Remember I told you that?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now we're just going to start seeing they all are going to just kill each other at the end of the movie.
Yep. That's right.
And you're starting to see they're throwing each other under the bus. So you can choose whether to dwell on it and go look at QAnon and trust the plan. But it's one thing to trust the plan. It's another thing to like, oh my God, when's the hammer going to drop? When's the hammer going? And I did that for years, man. And now I see people coming in new, and then they look at all the Q drops and they're like, oh, when's the plan going to? Oh, when are they going to make the arrests? And it's like, guys, calm down. Been looking at this for like 15 years. Yep. We knew the Q information before Q came public. Then it became this organized thing, and everybody comes in and they read through it and go, all right, let's make the arrests.
Yep.
It's like, Paige, I don't know.
Yeah.
Trust the plan means trust the plan. If you're not on the ground going into the tunnels, you have no control over that plan.
Yep, that's right.
So you trust it from afar and do you. Start to figure out your own shit because we all have our own shadows that we got to work through. So stop worrying about everybody else's shadows. And again, unless you're going to gear up and go into the tunnels, you have to understand what's been going on and then how do you change your life accordingly, knowing that we've been lied to, knowing that you are more powerful than you were told. Focus on that. Where do I get my power back?
Yeah, it's It's fascinating, where your attention goes, energy flows. And like we've said on these lives before, the trap is to say anti whatever as a virtue. But whatever we're anti, we create more of. So the war on drugs, the war on racism, the war on this, the war on that. The only solution to solve any of that, anything that people are anti, the only solution is to love one another. That's it. That's the only proactive solution that solves all of humanity's woes. To do unto another that which you would want done unto yourself, and to not do unto another that which you would not want done unto yourself. Those two coins, the tension that those create, keep humanity in this modus operandi of not acting against another sovereign being in any way that we want it deemed loving. And I think what's happening right now is humanity's been operating under the mode of fear in the name of love, in the name of virtue, in the name of good, in the name of God, in the name of all these things that somewhere our knowing is, yes, those things are good, but the means by which we've been swept down this current are leading us anywhere but where we want to go. And it's time to detach from this alluring call and this very powerful push to go corral into the shadows while we actually can just walk out into the light. And in the light, we can see clearly. In the light, there is no fear because there's nothing to fear because you are aware of all that is. In the light is the highest consciousness. In the light, there is freedom to create. So all this anti anything we are leaving as humanity, and it's time, and we're here. And so, yeah, brother, I love what you're saying because we don't have to wake anyone up. We get to just remember that we get to play in the light. And in the light, if you want to come out and have fun and remember that this world is beautiful, this earth is incredible, that we don't have to scar this beautiful earth anymore, come out into the light. Come play with it again.
It's so good. It's Plato's Cave, right?
100%.
Why do we feel if, the information is there? If people want it,
yes,
it's available. You just got to, you have to do a little bit of work. It's not going to be spoon fed to you because, as you've seen, we've tried to spoon feed it for people that need it that way, and it gets censored. So we're banging our head against a brick wall if we are trying to force someone down a different path than they're choosing.
That's right.
The information is there, and we're out here playing in the light. If anybody wants to join, right? So, because what you said, that's the bottom line.
Yes.
Love. Just be in love. Love others. If you can, find the biggest monster on the planet and find love for that person, and then reverse engineer from there. If you could go find love for Bill Gates or people like that, and however you have to do it, understanding that it's all God's plan and that people are here to play the part to push that contrast agenda, to push us into the light. We can be thankful.
Yes.
We can be thankful that this is happening finally.
Yeah.
Because think about your life 5-10 years ago. Oh, what am I going to do? I have to go to college. I got to do this. I got to get a job. I got to do this. I got to support. I got to get health insurance. I got to pay taxes. All these things.
So I can retire someday. Like, what
do we retire? We retire horses that can't race anymore.
That's
Boom.
Right.
That was, didn't you say that to me?
Yep.
So why do we want to retire? Just start living.
Yep.
Right. So, but how do we get there? That's the thing. And I understand this because I actually just had this conversation with my mother, because I don't pull punches. I don't set out to offend. Like, my mother did the best that she could with the information that she had. But I have to be honest and say, it took me a long time to feel comfortable in the vibration of love.
Yeah.
And listen to that. Like, ask yourself that question, because I grew up in all those things, in, this negative energy, in the name of love, in the name of God, in the name of all these things, because religion and science and all these built boxes that separated all this stuff. We're told this, and this. And we just think that love, you listen to music and love hurts and all this stuff. And no, love doesn't do that.
That's right.
Right. So if you're hurting, you're in fear, you're in pain, you're choosing a lower vibration. But when I started to feel that love, it was overwhelming. That's why it's important to start asking these questions, waking up now, invest in yourself, invest in your healing, because you have to surround yourself with that vibration of love, because it's overwhelming, and it's coming. It's coming. The light, the solar flares, the energy, the Schumann resonance coming from the earth, the vibration is raising. That's why you're seeing everybody all scattered, because it's really, really, you heard Jimmy Bluff talk about when he had that experience, it felt like he was holding on to an electric fence. Right. And that's what I think, with the CE5 meditations and the extraterrestrials that come in that higher vibration of love, or when Jesus walked around healing people, that's how he was, just in that 5D vibration. Right.
Yep.
That is intense for people who don't feel love. And I grew up in a household where my father's like, "Oh, be quiet. Don't be," he didn't say this, but it was like the energy was like, "Oh, don't be so happy. It irks me." And I grew up with that. I remember my mom would be making Christmas cookies, whistling and singing in the kitchen. And the feeling I would get was like, "Oh, stop being so happy." Like, that's how I grew up. And it wasn't my mom's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault.
Yeah.
That is hereditary. That is passed down energetically. They're talking about DNA and all this physical nonsense.
Right.
But the energy gets passed down. The energy starts when you're in the womb.
Yep.
The energy starts in gestation.
Yep. That's why the second commandment is to make to basically not worship anything but God, and God being love and light, the one infinite creator.
And God being non-physical,
spirit. And he says he will visit the iniquity upon the fathers into the third and fourth generation of those that hate him, but he will show mercy into thousands of those that love him. So iniquity, this word is very important to understand. Iniquity is like, if you have a pure glass of water straight from the spring of a mountain side, like just the purest water that is available on this planet right now. If you had that pure glass of water and I had a vial of urine and I just put a little bit of urine in there, I took what was pure. I took what was magnificent. I took what was vibrating with the earth's frequency and I tainted it. That's what iniquity means. It means making something impure. So what is impurity inside us energetically? Anything that's low vibration, anger, hate, jealousy, rage, judgment, all these low vibrational things that get passed down. And when God says, I will visit the iniquity upon the fathers in the third and fourth generations, you can go to AA and look about, if you're an alcoholic, 3 generations back usually is how far, 3 to 4 is how far that will get past you with your propensity to do such things. How we break these things, how we stop the cycles, is to face and look at internally every low vibrational thought, feeling, behavior, action that resides in us, and stop blaming others outside of us for those low vibrational feelings. And then once we identify them, release them verbally, energetically, shouting, releasing, being conscious, say, I release this. This no longer serves me. I release all things that no longer serve me. And I receive love. I receive love to go into my DNA. I receive love to go into every fiber and every cell and every atom and every neuron and every whatever's the smallest particle that even exists. I receive love through all of that. And anything that I am tied or tethered to from any generational line, teaching, dogma, doctrine, educational fallacy that is not aligned to the highest love, the highest good, the highest order, the highest beauty, the highest truth, I release, I renounce. If humanity just did that.
Right. And that's what I mean. That's the kind of work we do all the time. And people think if you think it's phooey, you will continue to suffer. But the word, you create your reality with the word. You can literally sit here and say, I consciously choose in this moment to release XYZ that no longer serves me. That's all time, space, reality, whatever you want. That's right. Speak that out loud. And then you start, I just said that and I'm vibrating right now. Like energy is everything is energy.
Everything's energy. Everything.
And the word speaks that energy into existence, and you can manifest it into the physical. That's why what is happening right now has all started with words, with stories, with news headlines, with narratives that get spread around. That's the spread thing. You know, I don't say the V word, but that's
right.
And it's there. There's something about this that's a spiritual virus that's here to wake people up, and it rolls into the vax and all that kind of stuff. It will continue to be there as long as you allow it. But
100%.
Where do you put your focus? And you literally can do it by yourself. If you feel weird, sit there when everybody goes to bed and just speak out loud. I consciously choose in this moment to release. You talk about these generations. I did an exercise actually with my wife. We both did it together. 12 generations. And we put circles in like a tree, a family tree. We drew a tree, and there were circles on each side of the tree. One side represents the maternal, one paternal, the father's side. And you just like with watercolors, and you paint whatever color that speaks. You fill in the circles, and then you burn the. I tied it to a tree up at a wolf sanctuary, wet it, and just let it dissolve over time.
Wow.
And then it dissolves all that stuff from 12 generations. I've also done Tyler had a hernia, and they wanted to do surgery right away, but the nonsense was that it was the beginning, and I was like, I'm not going to a hospital right now. And we tried to do a lot of energy work to heal it, which we did. He ended up getting the surgery, but not until we dealt with the underlying cause first. Because doctors will just say, it's popping through, we're going to sew it up, fine.
Right.
And there are times where that is necessary. However, you need to participate in your own health.
Right.
And I knew that came from somewhere. I had a double hernia when I was his age. Why? Where does that come from? So I worked with my healers, and I worked with Jay, who I've told you about. I have a lot of people work with her.
Yeah.
So I was told that we tracked it back to explosive anger on my father's side. And this was a male generational thing that went 3 or 4 generations to great grandfather. So before we did any kind of surgery and stuff, we went to clear explosive anger from 4 generations.
Wow.
So I cleared it. I also cleared it for Tyler energetically. Right. So now that's where that hernia came from, because that's where we tracked it to. And then I felt better clearing a lot of that explosive anger.
Yep.
And then it stops there. So Tyler can now live a life without that. Now, everything is possible. Everybody says that, they throw that term around. If everything is possible, you get to choose what reality you want to believe in.
Yep.
I believe that work that I did energetically is helping my family and clearing that anger. And I'm noticing it in myself. I was born into anger. I've had anger all my life. I'm clearing it in multiple different ways.
Yep.
Right. But I'm seeing, you start to see it as you believe it. And then you believe this is true. And then instead of focusing on clearing anger, you're now focusing on embracing and receiving love, because now you have space to receive it, but not until you do the work.
Well, it's also, it's so beautiful what you're saying, because the more contrast. So when people just hang out with their old friends, like, this is not disparaging to anyone, but not but it's not disparaging, but it's going to be disparaging. That's not what I'm saying. When we hang out with people of a certain frequency and there's a desire in us to grow or to seek new information or to ascend or to go beyond where we currently are, we can't get the new in the current place that we're in. So you couldn't break those cycles for Tyler if you were going to still stay in the same family dynamics and same anger, because like I said, I think with Jimmy on Friday, you go to Starbucks, you smell like Starbucks when you leave. Right. So you smell like the environment. You carry the environment with you wherever you go. So we have to change.
Your vibrational match, right? Whatever your vibration. Exactly. Love and anger aren't a vibrational match. So if I still have the explosive anger, it's going to be hard for me to get the love.
Yeah, and do so much work. The more light workers are out there, the more content, the more opportunity to think and speak and question in the light. The more invitations we're giving for others. Say you don't have to live in fear any longer. Truly, you do not. Anyone listening, you get to no longer live in fear ever again. Now, when fear arises, this is where the contrast comes in, that we can go inside ourselves as opposed to continuing the cycle of looking outside ourselves for the reason why we feel afraid, because the reason resides within, not without. Even if people come, whatever your greatest fear is, coming from a Jewish family, if people come to the door and, okay, well, if I am vibrating high, not only am I going to be able to keep my wits about me and think more clearly, but also that's not going to come to me, because that literally energetically cannot come to that frequency. It needs me to jump or drop down to that to meet it. And this is where these stories in the Bible, it's like Daniel in the lion's den. The lions didn't touch him. You could say, well, that's a fable. You could say that that's a metaphor, perhaps. And perhaps
it's a metaphor for something
of not being in fear, and the lions didn't look at him as prey. You can look at the stories of David killing a lion in the wilderness, a mountain lion, cougar, whatever type of lion it was, trying to eat the sheep, and he grabbed it, and while it was attacking, he grabbed its jaw and broke its jaw. And you think, and I often think of this as predator animals, like they are so strong, so fast, so violent. They have those animal instincts. But a human being, if you kept your wits about you,
right,
you have the physical strength to break a jaw of an animal, of a predator. But fear incapacitates us to think through and keep our wits about us. So I share all this to say there is the invitation to leave all the fear-based narrative, the survival narrative. Who wants to survive? Surviving sucks.
Right.
Thrive and exist and expand and grow and be and receive. And the trees are not surviving right now outside. They're not in survival mode.
The trees are in giving mode, actually.
Giving mode, being mode.
Giving, yes. Love, ahava.
That's right. And receiving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being open, being vulnerable to receive and to give. And it's this exchange of this symbiotic relationship that we all get to live in. So,
and the tree's never hiding in fear. They're just, there it is, just where it was yesterday, standing strong.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. We got some beautiful people watching. We got Becky says it's almost scary how strong the call to the light is right now. I hope it's not scary. I hope it's exciting. Maybe we change that word to exciting. The call to the light is right now. But Becky, I get what you're saying. Scott says social justice warriors have to have everything be one way. They want things to be one way. No individual thoughts or routes. Yep. Maria, I think fear and anger are like spirits for sure. But then Maria, I would also say God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Yes. And when we walk in the presence of God, or when we walk in love and light, which God is love and God is light, and in him there's no darkness at all, we are walking essentially in the power of the most high spirit that exists, the one infinite creator. And when we do that, no other lower form spirits can attach themselves to us. So that's why being anti anything is not effective, because we can go fight fear, fight whatever, and we're just meeting that vibrational energy where it's at, versus walking in love and light, and everything gets basically bathed off us, washed off us, cleansed off us. And it's no different than showering every single day. We are
Right.
washing off those particles from yesterday.
Well, this is the thing about carrying around guilt and shame and blame and all those things that have been conditioned into us for such a young age, that a lot of us, we have a big heart, and that's what's being preyed upon.
Yes.
Because the dark side doesn't really lead with the heart, right? They don't lead with love.
No.
So they don't play by the same rules. Now, so if we feel like, well, I'm just going to live that 5D consciousness, that 5D reality, there's a part of you that might feel like you're just being ignorant and leaving people behind. That's not the case.
Right.
If by going down into that low vibration with everyone else, you can't help. You can't lead by example. You can't help them because you don't have the strength or clarity. You get right back into that dizzy phase of like chaos.
Right.
So if everybody just was like, well, I got to help my one friend, or this friend doesn't get it, I need them to get it. You're not helping. You're not serving yourself. It's like on the airplane when they say to put your mask on before you try to help others, because you need to be full. You need to fill yourself with oxygen. Yeah. Otherwise, you can't function.
That's right.
So get up here, get up in the 5D, get up in that light, get up in that love, and you can be there for others when they see, why are you so happy? Why are you so healthy? Why are you so confident? Why aren't you afraid?
Yeah.
And you could just say, you could do it too. I'm no different than you.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to do the work. You just got to do the work. It takes a strategy to get there because of all the conditioning that we've been dealt with our whole life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We've done it. We'll continue to do it. We're constantly here to explore and expand.
Yeah.
That's right. So you don't have to feel like guilty. And I only know this from experience. I remember, a while ago where I would feel like, man, Lucas and I are building this course, is very 5D based, and there's so many people that could use it, but they're just not ready yet. And then I feel like I got to go back and be like, look, this is going on. This is going on. Well, now if I do that, then we're neglecting the people who are ready. Right. And when we all get on that same page, we get in that high vibration together, then other people, then it spreads. Right. Then you can go out and help your bubble, and you could go out and help your circle, and you could go out and help your circle, only when you're standing in that strong, sovereign 5D love.
Yep. That's right. Brother, this is good. This is a good live, good conversation, and I'm glad we're having it. And everyone that's going to hear this message, I know it's going to touch their hearts and just help them. We can all walk out, leave the shadows, leave the social dynamics, the family relationships, the anything that holds us back from freedom, we get to let go of. Yeah. Don't wait for it to let go of us, but we let go of it, because we're free the moment we choose freedom. We are in love the moment we choose love. We're in light the moment we choose light. And that's our sovereign right as human beings. Beautiful, brother. Thank you.
You can allow that 3D to crumble. It's going to. But you don't have to take that burden on your shoulders.
That's right.
Just allow it. This is a natural process. We're evolving, so is our Earth. Our Earth is intelligent as well, and it's evolving and it's expanding, right? So the reason why it feels heavy and painful is because if you feel that way, that means you're not expanding with the Earth naturally.
Yeah.
So just come up here, let it crumble, let it go, and people will find their own way out when it's their time.
Yeah, that's right. It's good, brother. Everyone have a beautiful day, and we will check you tomorrow on another live.